So it's Valentine's Day tomorrow, and being the mother of two small girls and unable to get babysitting, it means that me and my husband are going to enjoy a lovely family Valentine's evening outing. So my oldest daughter will be collected from school and we're all going to go out and do something really fun tomorrow night, which probably involves eating ice cream or maybe just going out for a meal, but just sharing the love together because it's Valentine's Day. So I wanted to do a Valentine's makeup look. I'm actually filming this the night before Valentine's Day because inevitably with having two small kids, if I try and do the filming as a get ready with me on the day, it is going to be a complete nightmare and disaster. So I'm doing it now so that I have a chance to do it properly. So I'm going to go for a fresh but slightly romantic, glamorous look. I'm going to throw in some reds because it's my signature colour. I've always got red nails. If I'm wearing nail varnish, it's usually red, and I love a red lippy. So let's get started. I'll first tell you how my face is prepped. So my usual morning quick, easy beauty routine any day of the week is that I have a shower, and while my skin is still damp, I rub on some natural oil, and by that I don't mean an expensive brand, I literally mean some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil from the kitchen. So I always have a container of this in the bathroom, and that is the first layer of anything that goes on my skin after I've been freshly showered. Now I actually did that first thing this morning, so that is completely absorbed and sunken into my skin. And what I'm going to do now then is just get on with putting on the makeup. Now if I was getting ready straight away, it would be great to do this after that makeup is absorbed sort of within half an hour, but as we all know, life doesn't often work out the way you want it to in terms of timing. So the first product I'm going to be using is this one. So this is my Lancome Teint d'Idole. I'm not sure if that's how you actually pronounce it, but Teint d'Idole Ultra Wear Foundation. And this is, for me, a luxury item. Really originally bought for a wedding. So I had my wedding in Greece, and this was the product I took out there after testing virtually every single type of foundation they had in John Lewis, with the help of the lovely beauticians there and the makeup artists. This was the one that I found provided the best coverage, the best skin colour match at the time, and that was going to really stand up to the test of all day. So I'm going to put this on. It's my go-to when I want to zhuzh it up a bit and look lovely. So first off, I'm going to just put this on. It's quite thick coverage, so I'm just going to go straight in with this and do quite a light touch first of all. Now I'm using with this is the sculpting brush, and this is from, I should remember the name, I've forgotten the name completely. No, it's Techniques. It's Techniques, designed by the makeup artist sisters, who are amazing, who I have been watching for years and thoroughly enjoying, and I do absolutely love these makeup brushes. They're so affordable and they're so good for what you get. It's just fantastic. So in the UK, and I think they are available everywhere now, but in the UK they sell them in Boots, Superdrug, places like TK Maxx is great. You can pick them up on deals there. If you haven't got any already, great thing to ask for as a present or to just treat yourself. You can normally get a set for the set of them come in different ones, so you might get like the foundation and base set, or you might get the eyebrow set. But I would recommend these. If you're not sure what makeup brushes to use, the work is done for you. Order some of these, and they look gorgeous. You'll see the other colours of the other brushes. Now I've just done a very light going over that, and what I will say at this stage is I've got freckles, so my skin is, you know, it's a medium tone kind of caramel colour, and the actual makeup tone I was just using was number 9 in this brand here. It's the Lancome brand. But I do have freckles, and I usually don't like to completely erase my freckles and cover them up. So you'll notice what I did with this was I started on the areas down here around the jawline rather than here up on the cheeks, because I don't want to blot that out. I love freckles on anybody, and I think they're a really nice individual feature, so why cancel those out? So I'm now just going to go over the eyes again. And really, I do love makeup. I love getting glammed up with makeup, but I don't like feeling like I've got heavy sort of face of theatrical makeup on an average day. So I like to go with the lighter touch and build up should I need to, covering any darker areas that need evening out or any blemishes. For me here, what I will say is really my eyebrows could do with the threading for my own personal taste. They need to be neatened up at the moment, but I just don't have time to get it done. And also I like to have my upper lip threaded, and I tend to do this at home. I have a handy little device which I conveniently lost, hence having hairy upper lip, but hopefully the makeup has covered most of that. It's not too bad. Right, so for me, that is a general base covering there. What I'm then going to do is I am going to go in with, oh, this looks shockingly messy, but this is, we can see there's some lipstick going on there. This is a GRWM warm palette. Okay, so number 2, and this is also a base foundation. I love this product. It's used by general women but also professional makeup artists, and there's a reason for that, because it's just such a lovely coverage and it gives a really natural finish. I'm going to use this under my eyes because I don't want to look too cakey under my eyes, but I have just realised that I don't have the brush that I want, so I'm going to go in and use my finger, and you can see the colours that I really love because they're the ones that are running out. So let's see if I can just get a bit of that out of there. And I'm just going to pat that on under the eye, just lifting and very gently, because it is delicate skin under the eye, smearing that into where I want it to be. And I must say, for a general makeup look, I'm not worried too much about getting in loads of portions of highlighting on my face and too much contouring. Maybe if I was going for like a glam evening out with just my husband, or to someone's wedding, or something like that where you cry a bit more, then I probably would. But for this makeup look, I'm going out with my girls, I'm going out for a family meal. It doesn't need to be too crazy heavy on that. So there we go. For me, that has just lifted up this portion under here. And I have noticed, you may notice this yourself, hormonal cycles do affect the dark circle under my eye. And so it's twice a month, usually around time of ovulation or gearing up for having my period, I do find that I get really darker circles in here, and I have to use a little bit more. So have a think about, have a look and see if that affects you in the same way. So having said that, I'm just going to go in here because it is a little bit darker than it would be. There we go. Okay, so not too much on the eyes. What I'm now going to do, and this is something you could have done as a first step, I didn't, and I'll tell you why. This is my silicone base. So this is like a primer that is mattifying. This is something I would use on a hot summer's day, but however, I have found that my skin doesn't actually enjoy it. It is silicone, it blocks the sweat, it blocks the natural oils coming out of your skin, hence it holds your makeup in place and stops it shifting around. But what I then find that means for me is that my skin doesn't actually like it, and by the end, or not even the end of the day, halfway through a day of having put that on, I find that my skin then starts to get tiny little bumps on it, like it really doesn't agree with it. So I'm just going to use it as a primer over the top of my lids today, and that's just really going to hold in the eyeshadow that I pop on, because I do have quite oily eyelids. You can also, especially if you're going to wear eyeliner on the lower line, you can pop this under here. So just the same place where I'd put the concealer before I'd put that on, I would normally just dab a little bit of this on, and a little goes a long way because it's silicone, it's got a real slippery touch to it. So you would dab that on, let it just dry for a minute while you do something else, and then come back to it. So I'm just going to let that sink in, and while that's happening, I am going to then just work on these messy eyebrows that I've got. So like I said, I haven't had time to go and have them threaded. That is a nice little treat I like to go and have done by my local beauty salon. So they've grown to a nice thick, I say thick, they're not really that thick, they could do with darkening up, but they're at a nice kind of, I don't know, they're abundant, let's say they're abundant, but a little tight, untidy. So they would normally be very clean lines and shaped. So how am I going to get around this, considering that I don't have the time to get down and get them done before I go out? I am just going to have to do a slightly thicker dusting for my eyebrow filling that I'm going to pop in. Now what I'm using here, this is me now going back to cheap products, which I love cheap products. This again is one of these, it's an, I could probably see it from there, but it's one of these slanted eyebrow brushes from the same range that I'd mentioned, so Real Techniques makeup brushes. I promise I'm not plugging them, I just really love them. So gorgeous purple colour here as well. What I've done is I'm using now a collection, it used to be called Collection, did it used to be called Collection 2000? It's like basically from Superdrug. It's one of their eyebrow kits and it came with 3 colours, so like a black, a dark brown for my tone, and then a taupe kind of colour, and it had in here a tiny little like eyebrow clear gel mascara to hold the eyebrows in place. All great, all for under £5, available in like Superdrug, probably Boots as well. But I'm just going to brush that in, and the reason I'm using a powder is because I find it gives a much lighter, softer touch if you want to approximate a more natural look for daytime. And like I said, I'm going out with my family, I don't need to be too crazy glammed up, although why not if you want to. But I find that powder can be a lot more forgiving as it goes on, and then what I like to do is just tighten up that line by running the edge of a clean finger over the edge, over the top of that there. Now if I had them threaded, this would literally just be a filling in job, but what I'm trying to do now is tidy up and clean up the edges by colouring them in. Okay, so you can see the difference. I love a good brow. This one is so much better than that one. I'm trying not to spend too much time on this, let's keep it real, because I am a mum, and when we actually go out tomorrow, you know, I will be doing this in real time with kids, trying to grab every single item of makeup off of the makeup table in front of me while I do it. And oh goodness, that's another thing, you know, anyone out there who's got kids, you may be able to relate to this. You know, I don't know, boys may be into it too, but I've got 2 girls and they're very young, far too young to be thinking about needing or wanting to wear makeup themselves. Shouldn't really say the word need, because we don't really need to, do we? It's a fun thing for most of us, isn't it? But yeah, they will try and get their hands into anything, so I can't have my makeup out anywhere like you would normally want to have it and enjoy it and see it displayed out in lovely these lovely little makeup container or stands that you get now. I just can't do that, because inevitably the minute I leave the room to go, say, to the toilet or somewhere, then I will come back with a child full of a face of makeup and it, you know, inevitably wiped all over the upholstery or all over the walls. So for me, that is my eyebrows done. With the clear coat of gel, I would go over that now. I have lost it. It was running out anyway. I say I've lost it. It's probably one of the kids has got it somewhere. That's going to be fine unless I'm touching my face loads. That is going to stay on without me having to put the clear coat in, and I filled in enough of it for it to stay within those neat lines. So that is the eye makeup there in terms of doing the brow. So let's now get into the eye, and I'm going to do the eye first and then come back to the rest of the face after. Why? I don't know, because I want to today. So let's have a look. What have I got here? So you may well have heard of MAC. Okay, so MAC is huge everywhere. It is a choice for a lot of people. It's great because they do these palettes that are beautifully packaged. So this one here is the eyeshadow palette. You get 15 of them and the tone is warm stroke neutral. They have cool. So you can also make up your own palettes, stocked in place other than MAC shops, places like John Lewis as well. So this is lovely. For me and my skin tone, I tend to go with warms. Cools just wash out on my skin. So, because I do have yellow undertones. So I'm going to stick with this one. And what I'm going to do is my typical pale shade. Now I don't want to go with too much sparkle or glitz today. So what I'm going to do is go in with this one at the bottom here. Don't ask me what it's called. Maybe I'll pop that on there for you afterwards. So this one here is just a really nice kind of neutral colour that just adds a tiny bit of sheen, no glitter, just sheen, so the light catching off the eye. So where I was saying I have quite oily eyelids, on a day where I don't bother wearing makeup, I really don't mind having the oily eyelid. And that is because I quite like seeing the natural texture of skin shine through. And that's what happens when you have, you know, no primer on, no eyeshadow on, and it actually draws attention to the eye. So I quite like an oily eyelid. So, but today, this is just basically, it highlights the fact that you have a contour in the eye. You have a high point in the middle of your eyelid. So let's just go over that and bring back a bit of sheen and lift to the center of the eye. Now, very simply then, what I'm going to go and do after that one, and let's check I've got a brush that is not covered in green and blue eyeshadow. That's the girls have done that, so I will not be using that one today. Let's go in now, and I'm going to use this one here. Okay, now if I didn't want sheen, I would have just used this one quite normally. I'm going to go into the crease. It's slightly darker than the one that I've just used. That is going to be my base crease colour. Let's get that in there. Other side. Okay, and blend that up a little bit. Lovely. And what I'm also going to do with that same colour, I have to check all my brushes now. I mean, I should have cleaned them before doing the video, but who has the time for that on a daily basis? So I'm now going to go under the eye with the same colour. So you may recall I didn't set the Graftobian that I put under my eye with the powder yet, because I wanted to do this first. So the first or closest part of the eye to the lower lid is actually being set by a nice warming eyeshadow that matches what I've taken over the top in the crease. Okay, so I'm just going under here. Let's just make sure I've got a nice coverage there. Lovely. So that just adds a slight bit of natural definition to the eye that is tied in with the colour that's going over the top of the eye. What I'm then going to do is I've now got this darker colour here on the edge. It's a dark brown, it's not black. And so if I can find the appropriate brush that I really want to use, this is lovely. This is like a really thin tipped brush, if you can see there. This is what I'm going to use underneath. Now that is going to go straight under the lash line, and I'm in fact brushing it into the lash line. This is the bit where I go quiet, focusing. Oh, and pulling a makeup face. You know, it's one of those things, isn't it? Eyes, obviously doing lipstick, but like mascara, we tend to pull these like involuntary makeup faces. And what's really funny is maybe my daughter's learnt it from me, but like I've given her like some old throwaway fun makeup colours, like a turquoise mascara. She does the same thing. So she's doing it at a really young age as well. And now if you choose to line the top lid, I tend to like to go quite light and fresh, because I like to see the definition of my lashes, and I don't have very long lashes. I'm not going to wear falsies because it's just, for me, a chilled family night out. So I'm just going very little here, so very little. I'm just going on the edge. I'm putting on a little bit just on the edge, just to define the outside edge of where my lashes are. And I'm taking it out ever so slightly. I wouldn't say I'm creating a wing. It's creating almost the shadow as if I did have longer lashes on the edge here. Okay, and as you can see, the eyes are just that little bit more defined, but still looking fairly natural. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take that dark one that I was just meant, same one, and I really don't want to go heavy on the crease, but I'm just going to really dab a tiny bit in here, just for definition. I'm just going to sort of dot it through there, and then I'm going to blend it in with the same brush that I was using earlier with that sort of mid-brown colour, just to bring down the depth, the darkness. So just a little bit in the crease, not too much. I don't want to go too smoky. So again, right into the crease. And that was literally a one-touch dip. You know, when you've got a high pigmented colour, you don't need too much, do you? I'm going to go crazy. So just blending that in there ever such a little. Now I could also do, I want to put a little highlighter out here on the outside edge. Again, I'm not going for glitz, so I'm going to use one of the matte. There's quite a lot of sparkle in these actually. I'm going to use, this is a very pale shade for me, but most of the others have a sheen. So I'm just going to go with that, and I'm just going to pop it here to just lift it. It's almost like a cream colour, just a little bit, because you know it's I don't want to go too chalky. It's a it's a warm palette, but you're getting towards that chalky kind of colour that's not going to sit well with my skin tone. So very nicely done in terms of keeping it looking like I haven't really got makeup on at all, because that's the look I'm going for. So that for me is the eye makeup done. What I'm now going to do is curl my lashes and put on my mascara, and I may speed this up because otherwise it can be painstakingly slow to watch. Good old fashioned, you know, this type of colour. Actually, I picked this up for literally the equivalent of about 50p in a market in Thailand. And I swear it is the best eyelash curler I have ever used. So I do normal high street brands. You know, I've had a Shoe Mirror one, and this is just the best. It beats all of them. So I have eyelashes that stick straight out. They do need a good curling. I do sometimes use that trick of just warming it first with a hairdryer. And you know, full disclosure here, my eyelashes were already curled using this morning because I did the school run. And although I don't feel like I need a full face of makeup for the school run, I do like to have a brow and my eyelashes done if I can. This is my mascara. Remind myself of the brand. This is Maybelline Lash Sensational Lash Multiplying Mascara. It's waterproof. This is amazing. It has to be waterproof for me because my eyes, you know, if you go out on a windy day, they will water, that will come right off. And also, if you want to keep a curl in your lash, a waterproof is much better at doing that than having any sort of regular formula of a mascara. So I've just naturally found this, and particularly this one, this will hold my lash with that curl all day, or most of the day, you know, if it's a work day, all day. Now I am going to go in and do my lower lashes. This one's a bit old, to be honest. It's a bit cloggy and old. And if you really want well-defined lashes, you will do one coat, you will leave it to completely dry, and then you'll come back and do the next coat. Lower lashes, I would probably do 2 coats and leave it at that, because I'm not particularly in for that kind of doll-like look on the lower lashes, especially not for a day look. But the upper lashes, you can certainly go in and do a few more coats of those. And you know, get right into the corners. Like I said, mine's a bit dry and sticky, so it's not working great. But you can get right into those lashes, right on the inner corner, get those ones on the outside. Let it dry, see if you want a bit more, come back and do it again. So we are going to move down the face. We are now onto cheeks. Now I could do contouring should I wish to. I'm not sure I particularly need it for this day out. Ew. And I went to use, what is this? This is my LA Girls Pro Concealer, which are amazing, by the way, and super affordable. I had to buy them online. I just literally went to squeeze it onto my hand to see if I was feeling it or not. And you can see, can you see this? Can you see this? This is when a product is beyond its sell-by date. So it's separated in there. Most products do have their longevity. Throw it away. So that's going. Okay, so contouring, if any, is going to be powder, because I realised all of those were bought on the same day and they're probably all in the same state. I have here my super chic and super cheek Cheek Chic Revolution Pro HD Powder Contour in Light Stroke Medium. And now I'm looking at it, this in fact says 12 months sell by date, so I've got a little bit of time left on this one. Okay, so some lovely colours here. It's actually a mixture here. I think of there's some warm and some a bit cooler than others. Let's go in with this. Now, this was my foundation brush. I am now going to go ahead and I am going to use, I don't know what they intended this one for. Yes, Sam and Nick Chapman. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to use this warm colour in the top here, just to first off warm up the whole of the cheek, because what I want to do first, before I do any contouring, I just want to see if I'm happy with the general warmth here on the top of the cheek. So I'm going to go in with that one. It says it's a contouring powder. Your makeup's there to be used in whatever way it suits you. So, I mean, often I actually use lipstick on my cheeks for my blush. That is something I would do every day as a work day. I will do a video on that one day. Super quick makeup, but never blow into it. It's something you shouldn't do, don't copy me. And I'm gonna go for this one at the bottom, which is slightly lighter than the other option that I have. I'm gonna do this. And I don't want to get too chalky, so I'm just doing a light dusting right under that cheekbone. Now I'm going to take my powder brush, which you may notice I didn't actually powder the foundation because it's a formula that doesn't require powder. So I'm just going to brush it, which I love, you know, I'm just going to brush over the whole thing with that. That for me has added enough tone on the cheeks for me to be generally happy with. So I've not had to powder anything at all. I'm now going to go in for my blush. Like I said, what I would normally do is use a what do you call it? lipstick on my cheeks. Now this is the blusher brush that I've gotten with this set. For me, I like a bigger blusher brush. I'm just going to go ahead and use this one for today. I'm going to use this colour at the top here. This is a sleek, again, sleek foundation in Flame. So this is just giving me a very like dusky kind of warm colour to the cheeks that is very close to my sort of the natural colour anyway that I would have here. And then what I'm going to do is double that up and add a little pop on top. Go in now with the bright one, which is super pigmented. I'm going to use my really cute kabuki brush, tiny little bit here just to add some pop to the centre of the apple of the cheek, and then just dust that up and in to the hairline. Okay, now last but not least, we're going in with the lip, and then I promise you I'm done. Okay, what am I using? MAC Ruby Woo. Everyone knows, look how much I love this. It's nearly gone, but I can just about get enough of this without having to use a brush. And there you have it. I think I'm happy with that. So that is me. I love a matte lip. The colour basically matches my nail polish, which is a £1 polish from the Pound shop. I love to mix high street bought affordable products with one or two high quality products if I cannot find, you know, anything that fits my needs in the high street. There's so much out there now that you can, but like I said, my sort of more expensive products would have been my foundation, which is important because particularly for matching your skin colour tone, you need to get the right colour for that. And then the other higher priced product would just be the MAC palette. But when you think that for the MAC palette, you are getting 15 different colours in there for approximately, I think it's around £50-ish, don't quote me, then it's really works out, you know, comparable to getting any of the other budget ones that you might get in a high street. So that is my makeup look. Thank you for joining me. This is what I would wear on a day out with my family for Valentine's, where I want to look a little bit chic, a little bit done up, feel like I've nurtured myself with a bit of me time in terms of getting ready, and just want to go out and enjoy the day with my family. So I hope you enjoyed this look. I hope you have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing, whether you're doing something on your own or with friends or with family or with a partner, and just really enjoy it. And remember, the most important message about Valentine's Day is to love yourself. So thanks for watching and see you soon.